Chiaki. Chiaki Nanami starts off as the ultimate gamer, a laid-back and sleepy student who's actually really good at video games. She's not just a regular classmate though, she's actually an artificial intelligence created to watch over and protect her friends, who are all stuck in a twisted killing game run by the evil Monokuma. Chiaki quickly becomes a central figure, helping out during class trials and forming a close bond with Hajime Hinata, the main character. But things take a dark turn. In the anime's Despair arc, Chiaki's death is especially hard to watch. She's trapped by Junko Enoshima, the mastermind who wants to push everyone into despair. Chiaki is thrown into a dungeon, and her execution is drawn out and cruel. She's forced to crawl through a maze filled with traps, getting injured over and over. Finally, she's impaled by a bunch of spears, and the whole thing is just torture. She doesn't get a quick or painless end. In the game, her execution is different, but still shocking. Chiaki and Usami, whom she calls her sister, are both crushed by a giant Tetris block, all to save the other students. Even though she's an AI, her death is treated with just as much weight as any real person's, and it leaves a big impact on everyone, especially Hajime. Megumi Shimizu. Megumi was a stylish, city-loving girl stuck in a boring village she absolutely hated. She didn't fit in with the others, and they didn't make it easier either. They made fun of her looks and dreams, and she had no real friends. The only things she cared about were a new creepy mansion that popped up in town, and her crush, Natsuno Yuki, who sadly didn't like her back. It all starts going downhill for her when she gets invited into the mansion by the mysterious Kirishiki family. After that, she disappears and is found barely able to speak or move. A few days later, she dies in her sleep from heart failure. But that's not the end. Megumi becomes the first known person in the village to rise up as a shiki, basically a vampire. She comes back with pale skin, creepy black and red eyes, and a new love for hunting humans. Megumi goes from a moody teen with dreams to a bloodthirsty creature who's totally fine with killing people she once knew, even her old best friend's dad. Her crush on Natsuno turns into a full-blown obsession. She stalks him, attacks people close to him, and even joins plans to kill his best friend Toru. And when the villagers finally decide to fight back and start killing the shiki, she tries to run away to the city but is caught by a mob of humans who smash her head with a tractor and crush her heart, ending her life brutally. Chika Hatori. Chika was a gentle and loving mom. She truly cared about her family and wanted to protect Chise from the strange spirit-like creatures called neighbors that were constantly drawn to her. Chise could see them, and so could her mom, which made things even worse. At one point, they were being haunted night and day. It completely wore Chika down. What made things even more painful was that Chika's husband, Yuki, ran off with their son, Fumiki, leaving her completely alone to deal with everything. That's when things started to fall apart. Without Yuki's protection, he somehow shielded them from these supernatural beings. The creatures kept tormenting Chika and Chise. At first, Chika tried her best to stay strong, but over time, she broke down. The stress, the loneliness, and the constant fear pushed her into a deep depression. She started to resent her own daughter. There's even a moment where she tells Chise, "You should never have been born." It's harsh and hard to hear, especially knowing that Chika wasn't always like this. She was once a kind person who just got pushed way past her limit. In a terrifying moment influenced by some dark force whispering in her ear, Chika tried to strangle Chise, but she stopped before it was too late. Realizing what she had done and feeling completely hopeless, Chika apologized to Chise and then made a devastating choice that would mark the end of her story. Her last words were, "I'm sorry, Chise. Please forgive me." Iok Kujan. Iok Kujan from Mobile Suit Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans is probably one of the most hated characters in the entire series. And honestly, his death was brutal, but kind of satisfying for a lot of fans. He's part of the Yalarhorn group, coming from a powerful family, the Kujans. Even though he had the rank and authority, he was super reckless and acted without thinking, which constantly got his own people killed. And he blamed everyone else, especially Takaran, for things that were 100% his fault. Throughout the series, Iok tries way too hard to impress Rusto Elion, a high-ranking commander he looks up to. He even goes as far as attacking innocent people just to get Rustol's attention. One of his worst moves was using an illegal railgun to wipe out the Turbines, a group that had already surrendered. He celebrated afterward like he had done something great, even though it was straight-up murder. In the final episodes, during a huge battle on Mars, Iok thinks he's going to win against Gundam Gushin Rebake Full City, piloted by Akihiro Outland. Big mistake. Right when Iok arrogantly announces his name, like it's some big victory, Akihiro snaps. He recognizes Iok as the guy behind the deaths of people he cared about. Akihiro grabs Iok's mobile suit using a scissor-like weapon and crushes him flat, literally. Even though other soldiers try to save him and manage to seriously damage Akihiro's Gundam, they're too late. Iok gets absolutely wrecked. Koro Sensei. Koro Sensei is a super powerful, octopus-like teacher who can move at insane speeds and has threatened to destroy the Earth. But instead of being a villain, he genuinely cares about his students in Class 3E, who are seen as misfits and troublemakers. The whole series revolves around the students trying to assassinate him before he destroys the planet. But along the way, they grow close to him and learn important life lessons. After a year of training and bonding, they finally get the chance to take him down. Nagisa, one of the most dedicated students, delivers the final blow. What makes this death so brutal isn't just the physical act, it's the emotional weight behind it. Koro Sensei doesn't fight back. He accepts his fate because he knows it's what has to happen. He even tells his students to be calm and smile when they kill him. Throughout the scene, you see the students struggling with their emotions, sadness, guilt, and gratitude, all mixed together. Koro Sensei thanks them for giving his life meaning and says he's happy to be harvested by them. Konan. Konan, along with Nagato and Yahiko, was one of the founders of the Akatsuki. After Yahiko's death and Nagato's eventual sacrifice, Konan leaves the Akatsuki, entrusting Nagato's dream of peace to Naruto. She returns to the Rain Village and becomes its leader. Obito Uchiha seeks out Konan to find Nagato's body so he can claim the Rinnegan. Konan confronts Obito, determined to stop him. She knows Obito is a threat to Naruto and the peace he represents, so she prepares a trap for him using her paper ninjutsu. Konan nearly succeeds in killing Obito with a massive explosion of paper bombs designed to exploit his weakness. But Obito uses the Izanagi, a forbidden technique that allows him to rewrite reality at the cost of one of his Sharingan eyes to survive the attack. He grabs Konan by the throat, overpowering her despite her efforts. Obito then kills Konan to get the information he needs to find Nagato's Rinnegan. Konan's body is left floating in the water. Her death is seen by some as meaningless as it didn't stop Obito from getting the Rinnegan. Junpei. Junpei was just a quiet 17-year-old kid who loved movies and didn't really get along with people. He wasn't mean, he just didn't trust anyone, and for good reason. He got bullied so badly that his classmates literally burned his skin with cigarettes, leaving scars on his face. No one helped him. Not the teachers, not the other students, no one. That kind of loneliness pushed him into a dark place where he basically gave up on humanity. Then Mahito shows up. Mahito is a cruel curse who plays mind games, and he saw Junpei as an easy target. He pretended to be his friend, fed him lies, and made him believe he could get revenge. With Mahito's curse power, Junpei got his own abilities, mainly a shikigami called Moondregs, a jellyfish-like creature that could paralyze people with poison. He even used it on one of his bullies. From the outside, it looked like he suddenly got psychic powers, but this new power only made things worse. Junpei finally met someone genuine, Yuji Itadori. They bonded over movies and started to build a real friendship. Yuji even tried to pull Junpei out of the hole he was in, but by then, it was too late. Mahito manipulated him into turning against the world, and then, just as fast, Mahito showed his true colors. In front of Yuji, Mahito used his ability to twist Junpei's soul and turned him into a monster. Junpei begged for help. His body warped, and then he died right in front of the only person who cared about him. Paco. Paco seems like a decent fighter. He passed the hunter exam using some smart tactics, like lacing his arrows with a paralyzing poison to win without even having to land a clean hit. After becoming a licensed hunter, he specialized in hunting fantastic beasts, and even developed a nen ability called Rainbow, which let him shoot different colored aura arrows, each with its own effect. His red arrow could set enemies on fire, and his orange arrow was his fastest. Paco joined a small group that went into the NGL to investigate the Chimera ant threat. Things went south fast. One of their team members got decapitated instantly, and Paco, now furious, used his arrows to kill some ants. But he quickly realized these monsters were way beyond his level. A spider-faced Chimera ant named Pike caught his arrows like they were nothing, and Paco even tried throwing punches in a last-ditch effort. Just as he was about to fire an arrow at close range, Zazan, a powerful ant, paralyzed him with her poisonous tail. Paco managed to survive long enough to hide under a pile of bones using the antidote in his tooth. But then Neferpitu, one of the Ant King's top officers, found him by scent. What follows is just horrifying. Paco was lobotomized. Neferpitu opened his skull and messed with his brain to force him to spill everything he knew about Nen. After that, he was chopped up and fed to the Chimera Ant Queen like garbage. Jiraiya. Jiraiya, one of the legendary Sannin, was Naruto's mentor and father figure. He taught Naruto important skills like summoning toads and the Rasengan, and helped shape him into the ninja he became. But despite his strength and experience, Jiraiya dies during a mission to find out more about the Akatsuki leader, Pain, who turns out to be his former student Nagato. The battle between Jiraiya and Pain is intense and shows just how dangerous Pain's 6 paths really are. Jiraiya fights bravely, using his Sage Mode and all his skills, but Pain's abilities are overwhelming. One by one, the 6 paths attack him, severing his arm, crushing his throat, and finally impaling him with multiple black chakra rods. Even though Jiraiya is badly injured, he doesn't give up. With his last bit of strength, he writes a secret message on the back of his toad companion Fukasaku. This message contains clues about Pain's true identity and abilities, which later helped Naruto in his fight. Ace. Ace is Luffy's older brother, and his death happens during the Marineford War arc, which is one of the biggest and most intense arcs in the show. Ace was captured by the Marines after a fierce battle with Blackbeard, who betrayed him and handed him over to the Navy. The Marines planned to publicly execute Ace, which sparked the Marineford War as Whitebeard and his crew, along with many allies, launched a massive rescue mission. Ace's execution was a way for the Navy to send a message and crush Whitebeard's power, but it also put Ace's life in grave danger. The brutal moment comes after Ace is freed from his shackles during the chaos of the war. As he tries to escape, Admiral Akainu, known for his ruthless and fiery magma powers, insults Whitebeard, provoking Ace's anger. Instead of running, Ace confronts Akainu to protect his younger brother Luffy. In a heartbreaking scene, Akainu punches a magma fist straight through Ace's chest, killing him instantly. Ace's death happens right in front of Luffy, who is powerless to save him. This moment is devastating because Ace sacrificed himself to protect his brother.